Hey, good morning. Happy Saturday. Today, I'd like to talk about autism, more specifically, people that are on the spectrum that lean towards Asperger's. People seem to dislike the word autism, so I'll call it ASD. It stands for Autism Spectrum Disorder. For some reason, people being on the spectrum is more prominent today than it was in past decades. People that don't understand that having unique capabilities is quite all right. There's more people like that than we think. People tend to have a problem with brainiacs and socially awkward people. Being a uniquely high achiever should be applauded, but in our envious society, people dump on these geniuses and they try to make them feel small. And it's just cruel. It's just wrong. When people on the spectrum get upset, what I found is that they seem to pour their negative energy, everything that's happening to them, into their work, and they end up overachieving. And that's where the bullying comes in. Some parts of the media is worse at bullying. It could be against the business, it could be against a corporation that succeeds at all odds. Today, I'll be talking about Elon Musk. I was reading an article about Musk, and I think the saddest part of what he said was that his father told him that he would never amount to anything. He thought his son was struggling mentally, which caused him to say this. Well, guess what, Dad? Look at him now. Oh my goodness. He is just excelling at everything that he puts his hands on and he puts his mind to. I remember back in May of 2021, Elon hosted Saturday Night Live and revealed that he had Asperger's. The audience laughed the entire time that he was doing his intro to hosting. The audience laughed and clapped when he revealed that he was on the spectrum as well. So they accepted it and they clapped and accepted it. I quickly noticed that his mom was there on the stage with him and not his dad. And I don't blame him, because after being told all your life you're never going to amount to anything and then he succeeds, he was less than stellar to bring his father along with him on his journey. But his mom was right there with him. After the show, people were coming out, particularly YouTube creators, realizing that they're also on the spectrum. And I want you to comment on how this part started. If you can comment in the comment section, because I can't remember how this testing topic came up. But YouTube creators were taking the spectrum test. And they took a simplistic test that had basic questions. So let's say you say yes or no, depending on the question, and it comes up with a score. And according to that score, it's a possibility that you're on the spectrum. It's similar to the basic test that Alta Regional does. And Alta Regional in Sacramento, at least, it's a place that you can send your child and they can gauge whether or not your child or adult child is on the spectrum, or yourself. You can go in and take the test. We also have the Mind Institute. They might use the same types of tests to determine if someone's on the spectrum. There were more and more people thanking Elon Musk for making people aware that they too are on the spectrum. So I noticed, and I don't know, you do too, some people that you see on YouTube, they're brainiacs, they're OCD, they're content creators, they're explaining wiring, they're explaining solar systems that go on RVs. They talk about charge controllers and other technical stuff that, it's intriguing, but you always wonder, how do they know all that? So it's easy to spot if you're on the spectrum. When Elon Musk hosted Saturday Night Live back in in May of 2021. It was interesting to read the YouTube comments. There were what I call backhanded compliments. And what a backhanded compliment is if they say, hey, I like your haircut, but you need to do something about your face. So it's something good followed up with something backhanded. So I was looking at the comments and noticed that there were backhanded comments. One commenter said, why does it feel like Elon Musk is pretending to be Jimmy Fallon, who is pretending to be Elon Musk? And, it's kind of like, okay, what they're saying is that he's not himself. Another commenter said, I like the way he tries hard to host the show like a human does. So they say what they like, and then he says, like a human does. So basically what that person is saying, that Elon Musk acts like he's not human. Another commenter said, he moves like a person who has never played a sport in their life. I love it. They talk about how awkward he moves, like a person who's never played a sport. And then yet he says he loves it. Another person said he and his mother both look like they're fighting the urge to blink horizontally. And I love every second of it. Now, I don't know if you realize that people that are on the spectrum, they tend to shift their eyes sideways because they're trying to avoid eye contact. And to bring that out, it's not that they're fighting the urge to blink horizontally. They're trying to focus on the task at hand. But, for someone to bring that out, it was kind of like a backhanded comment. Okay, and then another person said, I'm realizing that I've never heard him speak, and I just made up my own voice when I read his tweets. So that one wasn't too bad. These types of comments can be hurtful, and it resonates with the person that is on the spectrum because they already feel different. They feel like they're not like everyone else. And like I said, they have a unique ability and they try to channel it differently and people don't understand. Another person commented after, in the YouTube comments saying, compared to other times he's been on stage speaking publicly, he actually did a real good job. So as opposed to all the other times that he's been on stage speaking publicly, Elon Musk had a hard time speaking publicly because you can tell the way he dances around the stage, but he does it. He forced himself to speak publicly. And I applaud him for that because that's hard to do when you're on the spectrum. It's very hard if you have Asperger's in particular. This comment was really to the point, and it basically said, he is the most awkward human ever, and it's brilliant. So, I didn't understand the point of bringing out why he was awkward human, the most awkward human ever. I've seen pretty awkward humans, but you know what? People need to accept people the way they are. This one got me. And the reason why this next comment got me is because it is something that people on the spectrum do not, they're not comfortable with it. It's when people are staring at them, they feel like, not only do they already feel like, they're a little bit different, but people are staring. And the comment was, this is the longest I've ever stared at Elon's face. And to me, when you're watching any show, you're looking at the host. So for him to say, this is the longest I've ever stared at Elon's face, it resonates with the person that's on the spectrum. So although they seemed like innocent comments, they were very backhanded. And, um, it's like the good angel and the bad angel saying, "Oh, I think it's great." But I had to stare at his face. So I was just giving you the analogy of those comments. So when you see them, you'll see exactly what I am talking about. And there was a woman that said, when he hugged his mom, it just yanked the awe out of me involuntarily. So that was kind of cruel. She had to put that involuntarily. It should have yanked the awe out of her naturally, because people that are on the spectrum, they typically don't like to hug people, or um, they might not want to be touched. They might not want to be stared at. And I just think that by bringing that out, it yanked the awe out of her. And then she had to make sure she put the word involuntarily. So, yeah, comments. I always say, if you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. Don't even write it. If anyone said anything like this to their child, they'd have a fit. And it's just cruelty in society. It's cruel to do, and it shouldn't be accepted. People don't realize kindness is free. I know my son, he is on the spectrum. He has Asperger's. He speaks 3 languages, and he could speak 3 languages when he was alive. And he always asked me, how come people are so mean? Don't they realize that kindness is free? And that's where I got that term from. And you see it all over the internet as well. People don't realize that kindness is free. They should just be kind. Let's face it, Elon Musk is brilliant, and some people can't take it. And this includes his shareholders. This guy, when I think about all the things that he is involved in and excels in, I am intrigued. It's amazing. He's the head of Twitter, now called X. He created the Roadster. The Roadster is what got Tesla going. When people bought those expensive Roadsters, they were fast. They were the fastest car on the road. And of course, he's the head of Tesla. SpaceX, which is the space program. He wants to take people to Mars. The integration of power using solar, and PayPal. Did you know that outside of Tesla, PayPal is probably one of the most known companies that was ever owned by Elon Musk? He's also a co-founder of Neuralink and OpenAI. And Neuralink is very interesting because he is trying to find a way to give back to humanity for those who are paraplegic, quadriplegic, or have spinal cord injuries. He's helping them to be able to walk, to be able to use a computer just using their eyes and thoughts. So, and I think it's incredible because he's giving people life again. And he's also the president of the Musk Foundation. And so that's where his charity work comes in. I don't know how many people out there are familiar with the Cybertruck. Well, people gawked and they mocked the Cybertruck. They said, "Oh, it looks awkward. Oh, it's so sharp corners, I don't know." And they couldn't get used to the look until they realized that celebrities are rocking this truck. All of a sudden, it's a cool truck. And but it's the same truck that they were gawking and mocking at. So, people take the opportunity to take a jab, and then they say, "Oh, this is a really cool truck," because celebrities have them. Even our government took jabs. They bully Musk. And I hope he sues and wins this one. In January of 2024, according to Reuters, a Delaware judge invalidated his $56 billion pay package for his work as a Tesla chief executive. And they sided with the Tesla shareholder who called the package unfair. I'm sorry, but if a company agrees to pay you based on incentives, okay, they said, hey, we're going to pay you based on your performance. Okay, we're going to give you incentives. And then they yank your pay package away from you after you met those incentives, you excelled and you did everything they asked you to do. Most people would be angry and upset. An investor named Richard Tornetta sued Musk and several Tesla directors in 2018. What he claimed was Musk's pay package was unfair. Okay, now you have to think about this, and you'll know why I'm saying this. He claims the pay package was unfair. While Richard Tornetta only held 9 Tesla shares, which is his fault, he could have bought more. He knew the company was doing well, but he didn't. The deal has also been criticized by major pension funds. Out here, we have what's called the California State Teachers Retirement System, called CalSTRS. They view the deal as too large. Trust me, this is more political. It's more political than it is common sense. What surprises me about CalSTRS is they're a large retirement system that handles the retirement and pension for retired people. Okay, they have the chance to help retirees by investing in successful companies such as Elon Musk's. If the company invested wisely instead of criticizing, there would be some retirees that have done better, that would have done better in their pension when it came to their retirement pension funds. And instead, they ended up criticizing Musk. And I do know that when a company is bullied, and Musk admittedly said that he will say awkward things, it caused stock dips. It did, because people are wondering if he is okay. What they don't realize is that this is the way he operates. He will say things, and people need to take it with a grain of salt because he's on the spectrum. And I think that people that invested pulled out, and what they did was they sold short, and they're called short sellers. It's my only guess that this is what happened, because they thought they would make hundreds of thousands of dollars because of how well the Tesla stock was doing, and they sold it when it dipped. But I think that this is the motive behind their madness. So let's get back to Elon Musk's performance agreement. Okay, so his pay package in 2018 gave him stock grants worth about 1% of Tesla's equity. Each time the company achieved one of 12 portions, there were 12 portions that were connected to it, of escalating the operational and financial goals. So if he met those incentives, he gets 1% of Tesla's equity. So Elon was given goals, and the incentive was to achieve or overachieve the goal. He did it, and he made money. I'm not sure what's wrong with that. He did the job and overachieved. To me, this made the company bigger and better. Tornetta argued that shareholders were not told how easily the goals would be achieved. They weren't told how easy it would be to be achieved when they voted on the package. Now, listen to what I just said. They voted on this package, not Elon. They didn't think it would be attainable, and he achieved all those goals. And I explained it earlier why he is an overachiever. People that are not on the spectrum don't understand that the main goal for somebody that has Asperger's is to achieve goals, to win, to excel, and to put everything they have into the thing that they're interested in. Okay. So it was the shareholders that voted on this package. Okay. And now he's saying, hey, but you didn't tell us how easy it would be to achieve. Well, it's not easy for most people. And people didn't think he could achieve it. And so they voted on it, saying he'll never do it. Well, tell you what, when Elon Musk achieved those financial goals, it made him one of the world's most wealthiest people. And that was according to Forbes. But he worked hard at it. It's not something that you and I or a common person could do. Listen to what I just said, a person that is not on the spectrum could do. Tesla, I mean, this guy who's complaining about this, he had 9 shares. Okay, this 9 shareholder, Richard Tornetta, claimed the pay was not necessary to incentivize Musk to achieve success for Tesla. And the reason why he said that, it's like saying, oh, he already owns 22% of the automaker stock. So why would he need this pay? Okay, it's not necessary to give him incentives. They voted on it because without incentives, people do mediocre. Well, as CEO, of course, you want the company in which you work, in which you hold shares, to do well. So honestly, I think it was more jealousy and envy more than anything. I mean, I'm sorry, is it me or what? What does Elon Musk's, whatever he owns, does it have anything to do with an incentive? His work incentives? I don't think so. Whatever he owns has nothing to do with the work incentives that they voted on, by the way. Remember, they agreed to this incentive package. They said, okay, let's vote, and they all voted yes. And they agreed to it because I believe they didn't think he could achieve those goals. The problem is, and here's the main problem, they don't understand Asperger's. If you give an overachiever a challenge, sometimes no matter how hard it is, they will do it because of the rewards. I have another son. He was always told, you can't do that. That's impossible. This is too hard to do. Very similar to Elon, but not on that level. Elon Musk is just an incredible working man. Okay. My son works hard, but Elon Musk is incredible. What my son did was he bought this old car, and it was an old Monte Carlo, and it burned a lot of gas. Of course, if you all know about carbureted vehicles, they burn a lot of gas. When he realized this issue, he said, I'm going to turn it into a fuel injected car. That means he had to add a computer, a wiring harness, change the engine. He wanted a smaller block engine, all the works. He had to do all that. He was working on it in front of my house, and people would walk by and just ask him, hey, what are you working on? And he would tell them, I'm changing this vehicle into a fuel injected car. And people would say things like, good luck with that. Or they would say, I don't think that can be done. Guess what he did? He changed it over to a fuel injected car. He drove it around. He saved some money, and he turned around and sold it because nobody had ever seen that your vehicle in a fuel injection. So he did well. Many of you have children right now that do things, and you have no idea how they know what they know, but you're proud. Some parents get annoyed. Either way, there are some kids that have special abilities to learn and excel. And let me tell you, when it comes to Elon Musk and his situation his incentive situation, there was a chief executive that sided with this Tesla shareholder. They had the 9 shares who called the package unfair as well. He's one of the world's most wealthiest people, according to Forbes. And this 2018 compensation package for leading the electric vehicle maker is much larger. He was saying that that incentive was much larger than any executive pay package to date. So why does that surprise anybody? Do people love their Tesla vehicle? I think they do. And I don't think that people that have a Tesla even care that he gets paid more because they have a nice product. I don't think people care that own stock in Tesla cares that he overachieves because it makes their stock look better. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I think the vehicle is amazing. And the infrastructure to support charging those vehicles is incredible. I haven't heard anybody have any complaints about finding a place to charge their vehicle. There are other CEOs that haven't succeeded well that have jumped on the bandwagon and they're just trying to destroy this brilliant man. And we all know the CEO of a certain company, I won't say what it is, that made fake videos trying to show that Teslas are unsafe. While not displaying on the screen, there's a screen that shows you everything that the driver's doing, and it shows the road and everything else. Okay. When they made these fake videos, they weren't displaying on the screen or they weren't showing their accelerator foot, that the person driving was smashing on the gas and driving recklessly. The vehicle is so smart, it will tell you, hey, put your hands on the wheel. Hey, do this. It will tell you if you're doing something wrong. They've tried to say that there has been recall after recall. But what they don't say is that Elon Musk is so brilliant that nobody has to take their car in. Over the air update is genius. Over the air updates are almost the same as like, when you have your cell phone and it doesn't update and you wait a minute and you're good to go. As of today, nobody could achieve over the air updates for vehicles. Not one manufacturer successfully. I think there were a handful of times that people did actually have to take their vehicles in. For example, I believe reading about having a latch recall on the hood latch and maybe some wheel bearing issues. But other than that, just a small handful of recalls that people had to actually drive in. When you think about the Chevy Bolt, the fire and explosion with the Chevy Bolt, the stories were reported but quickly disappeared from the news and all the media. Elon Musk's stories never go away. People refuse to let any misstep go. When the Ford Explorer had the tire explosion issue in the 90s to the early 2000s, I don't know if you remember that the tires were just peeling off and causing wrecks. They squashed the stories and blamed Firestone for the tire failures. This was known as the blame game. They went back and forth saying who was at fault. It is in the vehicle because Firestone is saying we use these vehicles on all other vehicles. We use the tires on all other vehicles, and there haven't been any crashes. So it was the blame game. The tread would actually obliterate if you traveled at higher than normal speeds, which was unheard of for the Explorer. So these vehicles actually earned the name Ford Exploder because of the recalls. The story was mentioned and was quickly squashed and rarely talked about, even though 238 people died and injured over 500 people, and even more died in other countries. So Elon Musk would have been obliterated in the news if this had happened with Tesla. Obliterated. They would not hide the stories like they hid the other stories. Okay. Where are the critics when the stocks die for Ford? I mean, they're really low, and no one is talking about the CEO or the lack of performance of the executives in Ford. In fact, GM stocks have they've been steadily falling since Mary Barra took over as CEO. I believe they're just under $40 a share. Mary Barra has been at the helm as the CEO of GM since 2014. Now, she blames the switch to EVs and even cites undervalued stocks as the issue of GM's poor performance. Maybe it's the CEO that is not performing. So I'm thinking maybe GM stockholders should give Mary Barra a similar incentive that Elon Musk was given. Overachieve that. I'm surprised she still has a job. The stocks are plummeting. I mean, they're plummeting for GM. If this were Elon Musk and he was in Mary Barra's situation, the shareholders would be suing, just like they're suing him now. But they would be suing him because of the stock dip, severe stock dip over years. This is since 2014, so about a decade. I think it's time for them to rethink what they're doing. Anyway, this shows that there's something upside down and just plain wrong with society. If someone has a unique capability, stop the hate. There are so many kids in school that suffer because of these bullying behaviors. Some schools don't even stop bullying. They don't talk, they don't tell their students stop bullying people, or they don't have any repercussions if someone behaves badly in school. And then it follows the bullies into the workforce. I mean, let me know your thoughts about all this. I wanted to bring it up because every time I see Elon Musk and what he's going through and the struggles that he's going through, which is totally unfair, I see my own children, the struggles that happen because of cruel people, including one-sided media reporting. They only report one side. It's one side that they have an agenda, and it's to destroy Elon Musk. It's just totally unfair. I want you to have a great Saturday. And next week, we'll be talking with another mom that is bringing fentanyl awareness to it's actually in Mexico. Okay. She lost her son in the United States and she's in Mexico. And now she's fighting for fentanyl awareness. We're going to talk about her struggles and her achievements. With love, anything can be conquered. Remember that kindness is free. I will see you next week.